giving him a bit of a bigger role.
Some dudes sleep at the table, and like you guys right here. That's why y'all know ball, because other dudes at this table sleep, man.
I given
and
her
when they slept,
there's no way.
They slept on
There's no way
Isaac,
I'm going to take on Isaac Okoro.
When they slept on Isaac, man, he wasn't good. Now look.
I'm with
now.
you, Rib. I've been telling you about Isaac Okoro.
When did you hear what he just said?
He's here.
When they slept on Isaac Okoro, he wasn't good.
He was good.
So that's the truth. Duh. This season he's been significantly better in a role off the bench.
Rib never wavered.
You know, listen,
Never wavered's wrong. He admitted that he didn't play good, but he wanted him to play well.
Listen, Riv, I want to back you up on this.
Thank you, bro.
Because there are times when
What the hell's going to happen?
you have to stick with something because you see how it's going to play out.
It's a fact.
I felt that.
The Cavaliers are one of the hottest teams in the league. Isaac Okoro is playing well.
He is.
That's my brother.
But on the other side, the Dallas Mavericks are one of the hottest teams in the league.
Oh, here we go.
They are.
And in order to see
order
to see what they've been doing, you had to see the vision. You had to be like, oh wait, you know what, Drew? I'll take you up on a top 6 seed in the Western Conference bet because I believe in Luka.
He think
Doncic.
he watched you, by the way.
No, he thinks so. He really does think that.
He's locked
because they just sipped into the 6th seed for the first time, and it's fucking February.
Because look at the injuries they've had, Mr. Drew.
That's the truth.
I noticed something. Whenever it came to the Lakers, all Drew would mention is the injuries to the role players.
How he gets with the Lakers.
But then with the Mavericks,
Vincent changed the season for the Lakers.
I fucking hate that guy, man.
Every time we would talk about the Mavericks, it would be, the Mavericks ain't looking good. He wouldn't tell me Lively was out, Joel. It's going to be all right. Kyrie was out, Joel. It's going to be all right.
He's not going to do this to me because all I've done is acknowledge what likely means to the team. Don't do that.
So, you know what, man? I'm giving this team an A.
Okay.
They're an A.
I'm not against it.
Luka is the MVP of the league.
He might be.
With all respect to SGA, what he's doing with OKC, Nikola Jokic always got to be in the conversation. Luka Doncic is carrying.
His numbers are stupid.
He is the MVP. If he was not on the Mavs right now, or if he was missing as much games as Kyrie, whatever you want to say, because he's been carrying this team without Kyrie, the Mavericks are having a top 10 pick in the draft right now. It might be even worse. He is the heart and soul of this team. And the way I saw them play against Phoenix last night, the firepower they have with Kyrie Irving, I know the numbers for Grant Williams might look better than PJ Washington. But PJ Washington, he's locked in as a defender with Dallas. He's playing some good defense. And
he tried to kill KD last night.
You know, I've been killing 2 birds with 1 stone recently. I've been trying to be smart with my body and try to work out while I watch basketball games.
Like that. Okay.
So I've been,
treadie?
I've been on the treadmill. I've been walking. I was watching the Dallas Mavericks game, and I seen 2 plays back to back with Daniel Gafford. He blocked Devin Booker, and then he had a hard foul on Devin Booker. And it's that type of rim protector that you need to kind of remove the psyche of an offensive player that I don't really want to attack the basket like this. And what Daniel Gafford is going to mean to this team, man.
He's the Tyson Chandler of the Dallas
The
Mavericks.
Suns don't really go to the basket anyways. But
they don't, but I think Daniel Gafford is one of the better rim protectors in the league.
So who do you trust more, your Suns or your Mavericks?
The Mavericks 100%. Okay. The Mavericks 100%. They're my number 1 dark horse in the West. Number 2, right behind them, will be the Suns. But the Mavericks, for staying afloat, they get an A+. If Kyrie has played 10 more games, this is a top 4 seed in the West easy. This is easily. Easily.
Do you know the gap between 4 and 5?
What's the gap?
I think it's like 4 games.
That's not that much. With Kyrie, they go 6
They
and
could have lost those
They
games
run the
too,
table.
How many games does Kyrie miss?
What are the games
He's missed 22, I believe.
22?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. That's not a terrible.
When Kyrie and Luka play this season, they're 19 and 10. The win percentage is above 600. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, it would be it would be tied or a little bit above, because the Clippers just lost yesterday, to the Clippers win percentage for the season.
What percent was it at?
When Kyrie and Luka play.
What percent was it?
19 and 10. It's let me do the math.
10 divided by what is it?
It's 19 divided by 29 because it's 29 total games. So 19 divided by 29. They have a 65 win percentage.
65. That would put them in 5th place in the West right now.
The Clippers are what, 65 as well, right?
They're closer to 67. The Nuggets are at 66, and then the Pelicans are at 61.
But you understand that, though. With Kyrie and Luka,
it's really good.
They're amazing.
They're similar to the Clippers. And how do we look at the Clippers? We look at them as a contender in the West.
I think they're
in terms of win percentage. I'm just saying.
Now, do you remember the Clippers were like 23-3 from December to now?
No, they were awesome for sure.
I'd have them probably. This is probably like a B+, A- right now, just because of all of the injuries they've had. You know, it's the fact that they're the 6th seed, which you were locked into a playoff spot over teams like the Lakers, who haven't had as big of injuries. The Warriors with Draymond being out, sure.
Twice.
Twice, yeah, but at least like not a massive Curry injury that he's missing 20+ games.
Curry's thank God.
Yeah, and even Phoenix too, who's had injuries to all these different players, but it feels like for the most part they've at least had 2 of their guys for majority of stretches during the season. And since the trade deadline, they've been one of the better teams in the NBA. They're 8-2 in their last 10. As you mentioned, Joel, they're on a 7-game win streak now. Just kind of handled the Suns last night. First half it was close. Second half Dallas was able to break away with that game, and
nothing new.
The way you see Kyrie and Luka being able to play with each other and play off of each other. Kyrie playing more of a 2, which I know you've been saying for years. That's what he is, a 2, and Luka being, of course, the main distributor, playmaker of this team, and he's playing at an MVP level. He's been undoubtedly been a top 3 player, top 4 at worst in the NBA this year. I think he has every right to deserve the MVP, right up there with guys like Nikola Jokic and SGA. Even though he is 6 games behind those dudes, the injuries that they've sustained to their team, it doesn't even compare to the ones that the Nuggets, who really nothing serious, especially to a guy like the Joker or the Thunder, who really haven't dealt with any key injuries either. So still have to go forward. There's still a ton of good teams in the West, but in terms of dark horses, because it's hard for me to have the Suns as dark horses. I mentioned that in the Discord. When you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, it's either you're a contender or there's something wrong with your team. The Mavericks, though, I think are in that dark horse section. That's where I would have them too.
Adversity is the biggest thing right now for the MVP conversations, and Luka has one of the biggest adversity stories. I mean, his team has been battered, beaten up with injuries, missing Kyrie, missing key role players, and he's put the team on his back. He's essentially been the best player in the league this year. So I don't mind that they give him the MVP. You know, even if they get to 5th, 6th seed, you know, his team, he has been doing a shit ton for this team. I'm with you, Dels. B+, A. Like, I give him that. The way they've battled even with these injuries. You know, they picked up some nice pieces at the deadline. You know, they were able to bring in Gafford, bring in PJ Washington to shore up that front court, you know, give Lively some help. And now they've been hooping. So Dallas being a dark horse, I like it. You know, Dallas is your typical team that can definitely sneak in, knock out a top team, get to the WCF. For sure. So, you know, Joel gave me 2 weeks to assess and decide if I'm on the Dallas bandwagon. I'm 50-50 right now.
He gets that pass.
I'm not a Dallas hater.
Whatever.
I'm not.
I'm definitely a Dallas hater. Not a
you
Luka
and Dallas
hater,
are 100%.
but a Dallas hater.
Yeah, so I'm not a Dallas hater.
Man, I'm not deaf. Early in the show, we talk about the Hornets. You look to Delta and say, we're going to have to start having conversations.
What about Grant Will? That's it.
What does that mean, Riff?
No. He throws that little. He threw that joke for you. I was upstairs.
He threw the little jab.
Bro, what? All I was saying, credit to Grant Will. Maybe we have some conversations. Listen, Dallas Mavericks, B+. They have gone through a lot and still been able to stay more than afloat. Having this winning record, being a top 11 offense, which is one thing, especially with injuries. Understanding that Luka has been arguably the best offensive player in the game. You're still missing your co-star in Kyrie Irving in a good amount of games this season. But, of course, we understand his impact when he's on the court, when he has the ball in his hands. He's able to do special things in his own right. But the efficiency that Luka Doncic has been playing at this season has been flat out dumb. For him to improve this much as a three-point shooter on the volume that he is taking them at is really what's been impressing me the most. We know that he's an elite passer. We know that he's an elite scorer. The defense will always be in question, but at least he's been able to hold his own in terms of just doing his role on the defensive side of the ball. But when they made moves at the trade deadline, my big statement was that Daniel Gafford was the home run pick for them because they needed some help on the interior. They, at the time, I believe, were a bottom 4 defense in terms of points allowed in the paint, but now they started to clean that up. Or right now, I think they ranked 22nd already in terms of speaking after the trade deadline. Daniel Gafford, I'm glad that you highlighted him and what he did versus the Suns because that's what they needed. They needed that enforcer. You add that on top of Derek Lively too. There's not many teams that have the depth at the big position. To have 2 of those guys of that type of
they're probably the most athletic center. Two centers.
I agree.
In the league.
I agree because Derek Lively, good rim runner, and same with Gafford, no doubt about it. But they've been cooking and they've been playing some solid basketball. They get a B+ from me.